All right, looks like we are live. What is up, flying filmmakers? Welcome to our Q&A stream. Drop in the chat if you have audio and video, if everything is working. And drop in the chat where you are joining from this evening. What country or state you are joining from. Let's see, our connection looks like it's solid. All right, we're going to get to answering some questions here. Drop in the chat if the audio is working. Not seeing anything in the chat here. We'll see. Oh, looks like somebody must be able to hear me from Delaware. Great state of Delaware. I have not been there yet. Indiana, New Zealand. Wow. Maryland, Williamsburg, Virginia. Lots of great places. New Zealand, that must be a dream to shoot drone footage there. That is amazing. North Carolina, Arizona. North Carolina, that's this neck of the woods. Virginia is also this neck of the woods. Studio's good. Awesome. All right, we are going to... Somebody's saying the sound is too low. Maybe I need to talk closer to my mic here. We don't want to clip it, though. Pennsylvania, not too far from here. Omaha, Nebraska. Awesome. Well, we are going to get to answering all of your questions. So drop them in the chat, and I will start answering away. Whatever, anything about drones, drone videography, DJI ban. I'm sure some of you are interested in DJI ban, for those of you here in the US. Editing stuff, FPV stuff, whatever. We'll answer as many as we possibly can. California. Turkey. Wow. Turkey is on my bucket list of countries to visit for sure. North Carolina, Montana, Louisiana. Awesome. And guys, we actually do these every other week on Zoom, or actually Google Meet, for Flying Filmmaker members. So if you want to get in on our every other week ones, not just a couple times a year, the course is 60% off right now for our Black Friday sale. Ends tonight. Lifetime membership. You get access to all that stuff. Anyway, enough yapping. We are going to start answering questions. First one here from Pablo. No. Okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. From Italy. Italy is amazing, beautiful. I have a Mavic 4 Pro, and I got sharper pics from f2.8 to f5.6. At f11, I got the worst result. Is it your experience, or is my camera having issues? You're completely right. That is exactly what my experience has been too. At roughly f2 to f4 is the sharpest range on the camera. When you start going above f4, f5.6 on up to f11, especially f8, f11, your quality just goes down the drain. Actually, it's not that bad. I take that back. It's not that bad still, even at f11, but it's not as sharp as if you are at f2.8 to f4. So that's the target area. I like to use ND filters to keep in that aperture range, and you will get sharper shots. Gubbly 1985 says, except for, drone laws in New Zealand, they are ridiculous. I've heard it's hard to fly a drone there. Yeah, that is not great. Tennessee, Los Angeles, California, Yorkshire, UK, South New Jersey. Amazing. Got a few of our people from Europe. Must be late for you guys over there. What time is it? Probably after midnight. Maybe UK is the time zone over. Leo Ironwolf says, man, I'm planning to shoot an action short film. The main character uses his drone to scout, explore, and even attack. Any suggestions on production or story, etc.? Yeah, most of what I've shot is videos, films using drones, not with a drone in it. But, I mean, sounds like you got something really cool going there. Main thing I would say is you're going to want to, this is like a super basic thing, but if you want it to really look cinematic, watch your shutter speed when you are filming, because otherwise you'll get those choppy props. Sometimes I have that in my videos, but it's just a tutorial or whatever. So if you're trying to really make it cinematic, keep your shutter speed low so you get blurry props. Also, as far as like what kind of drone you're going to be using, action short film, a DJI drone, just plop that in there like a Mavic. That's like literally what they're using in Battlefield stuff right now. So just throw one of those in the film and it should be pretty interesting. We close, let's fly. Yeah, hit me up, send me an email. It's on the YouTube channel and might be able to connect. Question, is there an easy way to judge the height of terrain? Great question. It depends if you're talking about from the drone or from your, like when you're watching the drone. From the drone, like looking out the drone's camera, the way you do it is you basically look at the center point of your frame and go. So if you set your, let me back up a little bit. If you set your gimbal to horizontal, then the center marker in your frame will be the point at which anything that's below that in your frame you are probably not going to run into. Anything that's above that you're definitely going to run into. So just make sure that any obstacles are below the center marker in your frame when you have the gimbal at 0 degrees. If the gimbal isn't at 0 degrees, it's not going to do you any good. But if it's at 0 degrees, then you should be good to go. What is the best free online training to learn the nuts and bolts of cameras and videography, like f-stop, exposure, aperture, and exposure triangle, etc., including editing? Depends if you are talking about for drone stuff or just generally. If you're talking about for drone stuff, go to flyingfilmmakerpro.com and click on the free training button, and you will get what, in my opinion, is the best free training on drone filmmaking out there. I might be biased because I made it, but that's a good one. If you're just thinking general filmmaking, I've learned a lot of what I know from just YouTube tutorials generally. Full-time Filmmaker, they have a free training, I think, as well, that I haven't watched it in a long time, but I'm sure it's pretty good. So if you're looking for regular camera filmmaking, check that out. Kurt Walker 607, what causes video playback from the SD card to be blurry on the computer but clear on an iPad? That's a very interesting question. For one thing, your iPad's screen is smaller, so if your footage is blurry, it won't look as blurry on the iPad. Now, I don't know if that is exactly what is going on. You might be having some other issues. Number one, I would never play back footage directly off the SD card, or almost never. I almost always pull out the SD card, transfer the footage off onto my computer, and then I will load it, into whatever I'm playing it with. So that might be some of your issue, but that's usually going to be stuttery playback. It might also depend on your computer, maybe, and what program you're playing it with. Maybe it's somehow not supporting the DJI footage. If you want to drop more details about that, then maybe I can give you a better answer. Hi from Salta, Argentina. Wow, Argentina, we got some amazing places on here. I have the Air 3S. Any point to purchase the Mini 5 Pro? Check out my full comparison video. I would say no, unless there's a couple situations where I would say yes, it is worth it. One of those is if you are trying to shoot a lot of vertical content, because the Mini 5 Pro, actually I have it right here, will flip the gimbal to vertical. Air 3S can't do that, but in general, I like the Air 3S for a lot of stuff. I like it better than the Mini 5 Pro. So I would just keep the Mini 5 Pro, honestly. I'm also confused about SD cards in the Avata 2, also from First State FPV. The album is grayed out. SD cards, maybe you can explain that a little bit more. SD cards in the Avata 2, I'm not sure if I entirely am understanding the question. If you're using too slow of a write speed SD card, it will not write properly, and then you might be getting some issues with it actually connecting and working properly. So maybe that's the issue. Bob in Connecticut. Connecticut. I've seen so much beautiful stuff from there. I need to hit Connecticut. I need to actually hit all of the Northeast in fall sometime, because I've not been up that way. Been to a lot of other parts of the U.S., but not up there. I'm practicing with the DJI Air 3S. Fantastic drone. That is actually one of my all-time favorite drones. I think it's this one right here. Yep. This is an Air 3S, not an Air 3. Great drone. Mini 5 is much, much better after doing a camera reset. What is your experience with resolution sharpness comparison of the Mini 4 versus Mini 5? I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. TS-Teen 8656 by a camera reset. Maybe you can explain that a little bit better. As far as the comparison between the Mini 4 and the Mini 5, I actually didn't get the Mini 4, but the Air 3 had like basically exactly the same camera. And I would say the Mini 5 is definitely a bit better image quality than the Mini 4 sensor. So yeah, Mini 5 is certainly an upgrade as far as dynamic range and low light and everything, and I think even just the sharpness is an upgrade. Any updates in the US on the proposed ban? Not really since the last video. I will get to a bit more on the DJI ban here if you have more questions. Once we catch up on a few of these questions. If I get a DJI at Canada or Mexico, do you think I can fly it here in California or anywhere in the USA? Yes, you can. So this is starting to get into the DJI ban, and is a great question. A lot of people are like, oh, will our drones that we currently have still fly? Will we be able to get them? So what's happening is the DJI is presumably going to be added to the FCC covered list, which will mean they can't get FCC registrations for new products. That won't affect products that already have been registered. Now, there is a thing that they might do something to like restrict new drones, or to restrict drones that have already had their FCC registration processed. But even for those drones, they are not going to be banned, the ones that you have. They've actually made it quite specifically clear. And to be clear, this whole thing that they're doing about retroactively banning products, it's not specifically about DJI, it's just about Chinese stuff in general. So we don't know 100% sure if that'll even happen to DJI, but if it does, they've been very clear that it won't affect products that you already have in your possession. So if you get a current DJI drone, anything that's been released and had FCC authorization before December 23, you will be just fine to keep flying. Now, obviously, they could decide to take that away as well, but that's currently where we're at. So yes, if you get one in Canada or Mexico, you're fully legal to fly in the US at this point, and probably in the future as well. Next, what's next here? Brazoon1. I'm probably slaughtering these usernames. Hey, do you think a Mini 4 non-Pro is going to come out soon to replace the Mini 3? That's a great question. I've been wondering that myself. I kind of think at this point there's a good chance that that won't be the case because it's just been so long. I thought they were going to do that quite quickly, but apparently not. Owning an Air 3, would the Air 3S be worth the upgrade video quality wise? I'm not sure. I should be sure. It's a good upgrade. It's definitely a good upgrade, but it's not just massively massive. It definitely gives you that extra bump in image quality, especially low light. Even the telecamera has a bit of a bump in image quality. I actually have a video on the channel. It's called like, is the Air 3S camera no good? Where I compare the two. It's not a massive jump, but there's some benefit there. Honestly, if you have the Air 3S, you can probably just, if you have the Air 3, you can probably just keep flying it unless you just need the absolute best quality. First day FPV, your recommendation of video editor. DaVinci Resolve 100% all the way. That's my favorite video editor. That is what I use. That's what I edit all my drone videos, all my YouTube videos in, and it's fantastic. The free version has like 98% of the features you need. There's like a couple features that are nice, like noise reduction in the paid version, but the free version is super capable. And so that's my recommendation. I teach actually both DaVinci Resolve and Premiere, because some people just want to know about how to edit in Premiere, but my recommendation is DaVinci Resolve. Have you had a chance to use the anti-gravity 360 drone? No, I am offended. Not really, but I'm half offended that they didn't send me one. I signed up for their thing where you could, put in all your information. They didn't pick me. So, will I get my hands on one? Who knows? We'll see. But I don't have one yet. I guess I don't have a big enough channel yet or something. Anyway, follow-up questions. Last one was from UAG pilot Leo Ironwolf. Follow-up question. In short film I mentioned I'm planning to use both DJI drones and FPV. Nice. Air 3S, Avata 2, Nazgul, Helion, sweet. Each of them has different fiction. Tips on capturing them in action. Yeah, so there's a couple ways that you can go for that. Probably the main way I'd go is just like a long telephoto lens, tracking them through the sky for some shots, and then where they're actually like interacting with characters, you go with a wider lens, but just like throw a 70 to 200 on, get that nice tracking shot, get the motion blur in the background. And you can also stick a 360 camera on it if you want to get like a point of view shot. That can look super cool as well. Rocco Germani, what's up? What's up, man? We need to meet up and film something sometime. Collaborate on something. Kevin Reed says, check if the microSD has at least V30. Yeah, that's could well be what's going on. If you have too low SD card read speeds, that can be causing all kinds of problems. Hey, I'm from Zimbabwe. Locution Wonder. I'm from Zimbabwe. Want to buy a drone. Which is the best to buy for the first time? Short answer to that is probably if you want something, that shoots good video, Mini 4 Pro, Mini 5 Pro, or Air 3, Air 3S. Those are sort of my good jumping in points that are high quality for video. This mic not being straight is bothering me. Okay. First state FPV. When SD card is in the Avata 2, it shows recording. When I try to go into the album, it's grayed out. Do I have to have SD card in goggles as well? Yeah, I think so. So in the goggles, in the album on the goggles, it is just looking at your screen recordings, if I'm correct, and I don't think that it will pull the full resolution from the drone. I could be wrong about that, but that is my memory on how it works. I don't know why they made it that way, but that is how they made it. Leo Petty 9516. Hi, John. From Lee in Australia. Just purchased your course, a newbie with a Mini 5. That's awesome, me. That's awesome. I can't talk. That's awesome, Lee. Thanks for joining the course and joining us here on the live stream. Mini 5 is amazing drone, so you're going to be getting some great shots with it. Their brand new 64 megabyte SanDisk Extreme Pro. Yeah, I think you're just dealing with the issue that it doesn't display the footage from the drone, but just from the goggles recording. Robert Whirling 8948. I'm using a Mavic 4 Pro, and the default stock mode is 2. Overall, I think 3 would work better for me, but I have limited experience so far. I was wondering if, in your experience, 1 mode works better. Yes, mode 2 works the best. I would not do any other mode besides mode 2, to be honest, because that is like the universal standard for drones. I don't know hardly anybody who flies their drones in any other mode besides mode 2. So if you want to then like switch to some other drone that maybe doesn't have all the modes available, or fly somebody else's drone or whatever, if you've learned how to fly in mode 3, that's going to be a huge headache. Whereas if you've learned how to fly in mode 2, you'll be good to go. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just the different modes. Mode 1 is like you have your throttle over here, and then forward, backward, left, right over here. Mode, I don't even know what the other modes are, but it's like you have throttle on the opposite stick, and all that stuff. It just, if you learn one and then try to switch to the other, it's a huge pain. Leo Ironwolf, about anti-gravity. Did you get the Avata 360? Haha. No. DJI has... I've never gotten DJI to send me stuff. Well, they did send me an Osmo 360. I don't know why they couldn't send me a drone. It's a drone channel. But actually, that wasn't directly from DJI. It was some influencer marketing agency that was working with them. But I've never gotten DJI to send me stuff. So, no, I haven't gotten an Avata 360 because it's not released yet. But I probably will get one when it's released because it looks cool, and it's probably like the last DJI drone that we'll be able to get here in the US. So, Robert B. Will the Avata continue? I can't talk at all. Will the FAA continue to allow registration of DJI drones after the ban goes into effect? Example: someone gets an Avata 2 on the used market a year from now. Do you think the FAA will deny DJI registrations? I highly, highly, highly doubt that the FAA is going to start denying DJI registrations. Now, is that potentially possible that they would? Yes, anything's possible. But from everything I can tell, everything that's been done to combat DJI has been through the FCC, not the FAA. So I don't think that is going to change super soon. It could. It's theoretically possible, but I think it's very unlikely that they're going to get the FAA involved, because then that's a whole separate set of rulemaking and everything. And I think the main goal of the people who are lobbying behind the scenes to get Congress to do this, it's not national security, it's to eliminate competition, and that's pretty much being done by limiting the flow of new drones in. So I don't think they're going to mess with having to get through a whole separate rulemaking process for the FAA. At least that's what I'm hoping. That is what I am hoping. Anyway, we'll see. I'm actually coming out with like a video breaking down sometime in the next week or so, breaking down exactly what the drone ban will mean for you as a drone pilot. So, yeah. Rocco, for sure, man. Just hit me up. Starting to crave a winter trip to West Virginia. It really did. It's a really fun one to Pocahontas County back in February. Nice. So many fun landscapes. Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing a trip up to Dolly Sods sometime here this month. So, yeah, I'll shoot you a message. Geoffrey 3, buying UV and CPL filters for the Mini 5. Freewell and K&F concepts seem to be recommended. The former are more expensive. Your thoughts? My thoughts are Freewell sends me filters, so I just recommend their filters. No, that's not all of it. Also, I know Freewell is like a super, super solid brand. Anything they put out, I know it's not going to degrade image quality on my drone at all. Now, I have gotten, for some stuff that Freewell hasn't sent me, or I just like need extras because I destroyed a bunch of ND filters on my Avata or lost them. I've gotten K&F concept stuff, and it has been good for simple ND filters and stuff like that. ND UV filters, it's been fine. Now, I've gotten some variable ND filters, like for a camera from them, that had some weird color shifts and stuff. Not too bad, but they're not quite the premium quality. I use K&F concept UV filters on all my camera lenses, and they're great. So in general, I would say they are fine, but Freewell is, I would say, just a little bit more consistently on target, high quality. But KNF concept stuff can be fine as well if you want to save a buck or two, especially for simple filters. Goldwing, hi, I'm from Iran. Wow, that's amazing. Is the Mini 5 Pro good for filming construction? Yeah, Mini 5 Pro it's great for filming construction. Pretty much any DJI, good quality DJI drone is going to work great for filming construction. And the Mini 5 Pro is great for that because you don't need really vertical resolution that much. Let's see if I'm missing some questions here. No, it doesn't look like I missed any. Yeah, you don't need really to shoot vertical video usually. And you don't really need a telephoto camera. So either that or an Air 3 could work, or Air 3S, but Mini 5 Pro is a great option. So Robert B, how many need to format the SD card? Oh, you may need to format the SD card properly as well. Yeah, that can be a problem, but I think since it's just the playback in the goggles that's being affected, it's probably just the goggles issue. I would check out and see. We're dropping frames here. Oh boy, we have been dropping frames. Okay, looks like we're fine right now though. Just got a little bit of a spotty connection here with Starlink. So you may need to format the SD card properly. Yeah, so my guess is, hold on one second, guys. We're having some internet issues here. Hopefully it's still working. Oh no, we hit 0 kilobits a second. Okay, we should be back. We should be back, guys. Yeah, formatting the SD card. First day FPV, just check and see if your files are coming out fine on the computer, and if they are, then it's not a problem with the SD card. Mode 2 is left-hand throttle. Yep, that is true. I use my Mini 4 Pro for construction projects. It's nice to use a smaller drone to draw less attention. That is a great point. It's nice to be able to just, pop into a location, not draw a lot of attention. These mini drones, they just simply by their size, they're also a little bit quieter, but even just by their size, they draw way less attention than something like a Mavic or even an Air series. So those are definitely great for that kind of stuff. Jaunted, hey, nice to meet you. I've been flying a Neo. Nice to meet you as well. I've been flying my DJI Neo all over New York City, and I'm curious, what do you think about the Pavo 20 Pro 2 DJI 04? Excuse me. First of all, I hope you can continue to get away with flying your Neo all over New York City, because I'm pretty sure they're banned there. But hey, it seems like it's working for you. So I'm not going to give legal advice in the state of New York on this video, but it's just something to keep in mind. Pavo Pro DJI 04, let me look this up. Pavo 20 Pro 2 from Beta FPV. I think I've got something coming from them. 04 Pro, yeah, that looks nice. I don't know, I haven't used it specifically. I know they make some good stuff. Anything with an 04 Pro is going to be a great FPV drone. 2.2 inch Cinewhoop. Yeah, looks like a great one. That's going to be way higher quality than what the footage is going to be way higher quality than what your Neo will do. So I think you will like it. First state FPV, DJI will never stop flying in America. Just won't be any on American shelves. Yeah, I mean, at some point, all their drones may become obsolete, like 10 years down the road, and then they won't be flying anymore if you can't get new ones in. But yeah, they're going to be around for a while. Honestly, even if the FCC revoked authorization, people are just going to keep flying them, because what are they going to do about it? Again, that's not legal advice, but what are they going to do about it? That's just reality. People will keep flying. Ron Durant. There's a lot of DJI drones available from reputable sources in the US. Yeah, that is true. There are some good sources, but you can also just get them in from South Korea, which is what I've done for both the not the Mavic 4 Pro. Got that one from Canada. Both the Mini 4 Pro and the Neo 2 came in from South Korea. So that's a great way to get them. eBay South Korea, just find a good seller and you're good to go. Magdeal G, probably slaughtering that. What Mac Air do you use or recommend for editing 4K YouTube videos in DaVinci? I'm also was thinking to buy your program, but first need a budget computer to edit the videos. It's a great question. The basic Mac Air is pretty capable. Just the base at this point, I think it's M5, I believe. M5 Mac is M5, maybe it's M4. Anyway, both of those are quite decent quality or decent power. They're not going to be as powerful as something higher end, but they will certainly be able to edit drone footage no problem, especially if you're not trying to edit like super complex timelines. I start to slow computers down because I'm editing like 10 tracks for YouTube videos, but for something like a regular drone video, you're probably going to be good to go. Now, what I use right here, or have been using for a long time, is actually M1 Pro, MacBook Pro, 16-inch M1 Pro, which is a bit older, but it is still quite decent. Now, what I currently use, and this here just will it will handle drone videos absolutely fine. It was only slowing down with larger YouTube videos. Drone videos handles like butter. Now, what I currently use is actually an M4 Max Mac Studio, which is way overkill for mostly everything. But it should be something a lot lower will be fine for you. Actually, what I would, if you want the best computer on it, or the most computer for your money, what you'll want to get is actually a Mac Mini. Those are crazy value to price ratio because you can get one for like $500 and it has under 500 you can get an M4 chip which will handle drone videos just fine. Maybe not super complicated VFX stuff, but drone videos it will handle fine. That's under $500. Connect it to a monitor and you're good to go. So that would be my budget recommendation. Leo Ironwolf. I work in bungee jumping team. I record the free fall. That is incredibly cool. I would love to do that with drones. I just don't have bungee jumping people around here to shoot. Quick tip on the Avata 2 tumbling issue. Once you dive full throttle upside down, you tumble when you roll 180 degrees to level up. Inverted roll 90, yaw 90, pitch 90. Oh, that's interesting. So you just sort of like twist out of it, kind of. Yeah, that's an idea. That's definitely a way to go. Now I just fly the 5-inch FPV, and I've got one up there. Videos coming out on it like here in the next couple days. It's amazing. There's no tumbling with a 5-inch FPV. That solves all those problems. But that is a great tip for everyone who's flying the Avatas. I still fly the Avatas too, so great tip. First Day FPV Camera Butter. Yeah, Camera Butter is a company that makes ND filters for drones, especially FPV stuff. And when I got my real FPV, the Freewell filters for the Avata wouldn't fit it. The 04 camera is basically the same as an Avata camera, but the filters won't fit it just because of where it's mounted in the drone. So Camera Butter had some that would fit it. I got those. They have Gorilla Glass in them, so they are less likely to break on impact or get scratched or whatever. And yeah, I've been using them. They are great. Would recommend. I'll probably get some more at some point using both their ND filters and ND filters. So they are very much recommended. Rocco Germani, sweet. The sods are awesome. When I'm home from college, 2.5 hours from there. Oh, it's not very far. In the winter, it's nice to see the greenery with all that spruce, and if there's snow, it's an added bonus. Yeah, it's beautiful up there, guys. Dolly Sods, it's about like 2 hours from me. It's the top of a mountain. It's gorgeous, gorgeous place. I've actually never been up there in winter, so hopefully this winter we get them. First day FPV, I use them for all my quads. I assume you are referring to Camera Butter, and yeah, they are great. I just discovered them relatively recently, and I like them. Yep, things work different now, but we can still get the DJI drones for sure. Overseas, eBay, all my quads come from overseas. Pretty much, yeah. And pretty quick shipping times within 10 days, even faster than that if you get it from a good seller in South Korea. How do you store UAG Pilot? How do you store your drone batteries when not in use, particularly DJI? Actually, the DJI batteries get the least amount of effort put into storing them. A DJI battery, I just literally set it somewhere and let it sit there. It'll auto discharge so it's not too overcharged and damaging the battery, and they're just fine. I've really never had an issue. Now I do go through a lot of drone batteries because I'm always getting new drones. So I'm not like flying one set of batteries a ton, and there's probably some tweaks that somebody out there on the internet is going to be like, you're doing something terrible. Put it in the chat if I'm doing something terrible, let me know. But in general, DJI batteries are relatively easy to manage. Now, FPV batteries like this right here, they are just a raw lithium ion battery. There's no auto discharge, there's no anything. So these, you got to be a little bit more careful. You got to discharge them so they're around 3.8 volts per cell, not fully charged, otherwise it will degrade the performance. And I usually just store them on a shelf. That might be better to store them in like a LiPo-safe bag. I charge them many times in a LiPo-safe bag, but yeah, they just get stored in a shelf. Jacob Sander 9420. What's the worst crash you've experienced? Oh my. We could go a lot of places with this. So one of the most painful crashes was this spring. I was flying my Avata down waterfall, diving a waterfall. I'd done like a bunch of passes, and I just went back for one more pass. Never go back for one more pass. Well, you got to go back for one more pass sometimes to get a better shot, but I already had a good shot. It's like one more pass. I dive, the Avata 2 tumbles as I'm trying to pull out of the dive straight into the water. The water is deep and like right at the bottom of the waterfall. I cannot find the drone. I don't have anybody with me, so I'm like not really comfortable to go like swimming in right under the waterfall. Never got it back. I had so much good footage of that waterfall, lost it all. That was very painful. And I had another one where I was like, with the Avata, I'm like, I'm not going to lose one in the river again. So I tied a water bottle to the top of it. Bad idea. The water bottle came loose, flipped over to the side, got in the props, and crashed the drone into the river. Actually, right next to the river, and bounced into the river. And I never saw it again. So yeah, Avatas have had a bad history. One time I had return to home launch on me when I was like 2 feet away from the drone. It went up straight up into a tree, got stuck there, had to knock it down, tried to start the props, ran into the ground, broke a bunch of stuff. And I could never get it to fly. It somehow messed up the GPS or compass or something. I could never get it to fly straight again. Original Mavic Pro. That's a few crash stories for you, for your morbid entertainment. Leo Iron Wolf, DaVinci Resolve free version sounds like not supporting 10-bit footage. Should I get the paid version or should I just shoot 8-bit? So it doesn't support 10-bit footage if it has 422 color subsampling. DJI footage, basically all DJI footage, has 420 color subsampling. What all that means, it's fancy stuff. I'm not going to get into all of it right here. But it is fine. It works fine in the free version. The footage out of like your, Air 3S, Mavic, Mini, blah blah, all those Avata, all those work fine. So yeah, just shoot 10-bit, edit and resolve. Drones by David. Hi John, it's David from London, England. Wow, got our European representation here. That's amazing. Currently flying a Mini 4 Pro, or I guess I should say British representation. Currently flying a Mini 4 Pro and started droning earlier this year, 7 months now. That's amazing. A little ways into this, Mini 4 Pro is a great drone. Great drone. What are your tips for filming compelling short form, true vertical clips of inner city London? This is the content I'm wanting to create net right now and want to focus on TikTok and YouTube shorts. Great question. Nighttime stuff does really, really well. Like night hyperlapses, night footage generally does great. So if you can shoot at night, I don't know exactly what the rules are in the UK. How hard it is to shoot, in the middle of a city or at night or whatever. But night stuff and hyperlapses do great. I would really capitalize on hyperlapses. I've seen that do well on social media. Also, add hooks to your shorts. Don't just have the drone shot, but have something where you're like launching the drone and then it just like, I don't know, put some interesting text on it. There's a whole science of doing short form content. But as far as the drone side of things, yeah, hyperlapses are a great place to start. And then just, you can, also mix in other stuff. And you can put captions like, what does he think he's doing with a drone as you launch the drone? And then you have like this really epic shot. Those tend to do well on social media. Leo Ironwolf. I use stock Air 3S stock ND. Yep, but that ND 128 seems to make a big difference between the main cam and the 3x cam. The 3x cam just becomes darker when you switch. I think if it's because the small sensor will fix it. Yeah. So if I'm correct, the DJI NDs have the same filter strength for both lenses, which is not good because the two lenses have different apertures. So, you can't really get the correct exposure with both of them. So what I would do is just go ahead and get the Freewell split NDs for the Air 3S. If you look on my channel, there's you can just search them up on Amazon, but there's Air 3S settings video. It's linked in the description of those, the ones that I use. They have a different filter strength for the wide angle camera and for the telephoto camera, and that makes everything work way, way better. So that should help things out. C-Mill SAP 100. Again, I'm probably slaughtering these handles. It's from Forest Park, Illinois. Welcome. Are you aware of a reputable aftermarket source of DJI batteries? I am not. I know there's plenty of them on Amazon. Some of them have pretty good reviews. I have simply never ever trusted third-party DJI or aftermarket DJI batteries, because if something goes wrong with the battery, your drone's going down. So that's one thing that I always just get DJI. I get, off-brand a lot of stuff, but not the batteries. I'm sure there's some out there that are okay. I personally wouldn't risk it. But feel free to see what you can do. Test them out. But yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in them, and I don't have ones that I recommend. Leo Ironwolf, man, not a suggestion, not a question, more like a suggestion. We should team up to shoot Angel Falls. That would be very interesting. Yeah, tallest 900mm waterfall. I've seen so many cool shots of Angel Falls. It's definitely a bucket list place to go to and to shoot. That would be extremely cool. Ron Durant. I've split NDs for the Air 3 from Freewell. I recommend them 100%. Yep, they're the way to go. Got one on the drone right now, and they're great. The Iron Wolf. Me and my team, we climb mountains a lot for bungee rope. Interesting. Sometimes I stay at the bottom. There are some 600 meters I can take my drone up there when I launch from the bottom, but others climb. Yeah, so you're probably running into the height limit on those DJI drones, which is kind of annoying. The nice thing is, like, if you're flying an FPV, like a regular 5-inch FPV, you have no height limit. That's part of why I got an FPV. When you're diving mountains, it's just a pain with a Nevada or something like that. And looks like follow up to this. If my team member climbs up 300 meters and I launch my drone to them, they can take it, switch it off and on again. Will my drone go up higher because it's launched from a higher spot? That's actually a great idea. I think even if you just land and take back off, even without turning it off and back on, it should be able to go up higher. Yeah, I think so. I've heard a lot of people suggest just land it halfway up the mountain. It's like, I don't want to land my drone, thousands of feet away from you. But if you have somebody up there that can stage and relaunch your drone, then go for it. That will definitely work. Drones by David, where do you store your footage? I have a 256 gigabyte SD card and I'm noticing I keep filling it up and don't want to keep deleting footage from my Mavic 4 Pro to free up space. Do you recommend a specific hard drive? I do actually have a couple recommendations. Let me actually just pull these up on Amazon. One of them is the Extreme SSD 4 terabyte. You can also get a 2 terabyte if you want a smaller one from where's the 4 terabyte one? Here we go. From their SanDisk ones. They are my standard ones. I can't get a short link. I'm not sure why. I don't want to paste this big messy link into the chat. Here we go. Here's one. Oh, well, it's not getting me. Okay, we're going with a big messy link. These are the ones that I use all the time. Paste this. Boom. Oh, it's too long to paste in the chat. Oh, well, just search up SanDisk Extreme SSD 4 terabytes. That's what I use. I like the SSDs because they are a lot faster, or 2 terabyte or 1 terabyte, depends how much storage you want. I just like the 4 terabyte because I fill them up because I'm shooting YouTube videos. So, let's see here. I film automotive content for a lot of reputable manufacturers for work. That is extremely cool. I'm upgrading my drones and I wonder what model you would recommend, Air 3S or Mavic 4 Pro. If you're shooting for big clients, reputable auto manufacturers, really any auto manufacturer that's a fairly big client, I would just get the Mavic 4 Pro. You're getting that extra telephoto camera, you're getting that extra quality from the main camera, shooting in 6K, just get the Mavic 4 Pro. If it's at all in the budget, get the Mavic 4 Pro. Like, it's the way to go if you want. And also, it'll chase cars faster. It has a 60 mile an hour top speed. If you're chasing cars all the time, get the Mavic 4 Pro. No question about it. Yeah, it's a fantastic drone. I have like a almost half an hour, 20-some minute review. You can go watch that and get all the pros and cons of it. Gubby 1958, where do I find apps that will work on DJI RC2 Pro? I'm not sure that you can load apps onto the RC2 Pro. I know you can't onto the RC2 and you can't onto most of the remotes. I don't have the RC2 Pro actually, but I don't think you can sideload apps onto it either. DJI has not been super helpful about letting you sideload apps onto drones, so I doubt that they let you do it on the RC2 Pro either. Correct me, somebody, if I'm wrong in the comments. But we'll see. Where do I find apps? Okay, here we go. Leo Iron Wolf, what do you prefer, the stock props or aftermarket props on the Air 2S and Nevada 2? I always just go stock props. Again, I kind of trust the DJI stuff more. I know for the Avata, I thought about trying aftermarket props because, it's FPV and you can kind of play around with the props. They're not as optimized, although I kind of imagine DJI has optimized them. I've heard some people say they get a little bit better thrust. Actually, what's his name? There's a YouTuber that did a test of a bunch of different props for the Avata 2. Escapes me his name right now, but if you search up like Avata 2 prop test, you can probably find it. And he found that the Avata 2 stock props did as well. So I always just stick with stock props. They're a little more expensive, but I figure DJI probably knew how to design the props to get the most efficiency. You'd be surprised how much of a difference little tweaks in the geometry can actually make for props. So yeah, I'd stick stock props. Thank you, John. Thank you for joining Drones by David. I have one RC2. Should I invest in another one just with just the phone, or good to go with one for multiple drones? I have a Neo 2 coming. Yeah, I think I would probably just, for now, just stick with one. And if you get too annoyed by switching between them, you can get a new one. But it doesn't take that long. It takes maybe 30 seconds to switch between them, something like that. So you're probably good with one with multiple drones. I've got multiple remotes at this point, and I only use 2 of them that are connected to all the drones because I like the RC2s better than the ones with where you have to put your phone in. And also, if you're carrying multiple drones and hiking, then you can just have one remote. You don't have to carry multiple remotes, so one remote should work just fine for you. Rocco Germani, since we're on the subject of storage, what is your workflow like as a whole? Do you edit off of SDs, then back up to spinning disk drives? Any backups of your backup? It's a whole rabbit hole. So, truth be told, do as I say, not as I do. I'm pretty bad at backups. You should definitely back up and then have a backup of your backup. Actually, part of my backup is I usually don't delete the files off of the SD card. For when I'm shooting YouTube videos, I usually don't delete the files off the SD card until I've posted the video, because then I know I won't need that footage anymore. And then I'll oftentimes just move that footage off onto a spinning disk hard drive, but I still go through a lot of SSDs because it doesn't always all get moved off. So yeah, that's my workflow. But I edit. So I take the footage, dump it all off of the SD cards onto SSD, 4 terabyte SSDs. Then I edit off of those SSDs, and then I move 2 spinning disks for archival, 4 terabyte Lessee rugged disks. And then I'll sometimes I'll just back up from that to 14 terabyte little tower hard drive. But I should make more backups. I preach it and I don't back up as much as I should. Geoffrey 3, have you had the software update available window take over your RC2 screen while it was making a tricky flying move? I have. I now make sure the controller is not connected to my phone. I have not had that happen, thankfully. But yeah, I pretty much usually don't have the drone connected to my phone, but I have had it do various funny things where some kind of box comes up, or it goes back to the main screen while I'm in the middle of something. That's this is not ideal. But yeah, that always stuff like that can happen. You just got to be, minimize it as much as possible. Roku Germani, I've shot close to 32 terabytes combined over the years. So much storage. Man, I can relate to that very much. I don't know what my current number of terabytes is, but it's up there. It's yeah, I probably should have a NAS or something at this point, but yeah, I'm somewhere up there. But yeah, I feel the pain of all that much storage and having to manage it. Kevin Reed, video storage. Decide on a NAS solution with a USB-C and USB-A 3.2 for a micro SD adapter. Files can be used directly for editing from the NAS. Yeah, I really should figure that out. I just don't feel like taking the time to figure out how to build out a NAS and how to use one, all that stuff, but I probably really should figure all that out. Speaking of hard drives and YouTube, do you use a NAS to archive your video footage? I really should. Now everyone's telling me I need to get a NAS. People have been telling me that for a long time, but I haven't done it yet. I've actually had NAS companies want to send me one, so maybe I should let them send me one and make a video about how to set it up. But yeah, I basically live off of so what I will say is I do have a little bit of organization going on. I actually have connected to my Mac Studio, I think 17 port, 16 port, 20 port, something like that, USB 3 hub that has a separate power adapter, and you can switch on and off each of the ports. And I just have probably a dozen hard drives hooked up to that because I was overloading how much a Mac Studio how many drives it could power. So there's that. I don't do that for like the drives I'm directly editing off of, but kind of older drives that I just want to have available. Leo Ironwolf, do you think Goggles 4 is coming anytime soon? Do you think they will add or improve on new goggles? What do you think they'll add or improve? Are they coming? They might be. They very well might be. I don't know if we'll get them here in the US, but there might be something new coming with the Avata 360. I'm actually guessing there probably is something new coming to have like all the fancy head tracking features and all this kind of stuff. So there's probably, I'm going to say, something new coming, but we'll see. We'll see if something new is coming. And if they update it, probably a lot of it is going to be that head tracking stuff. Honestly, I think the Goggles 3 work so well that there aren't a ton of things that I want them to add. Actually, there's something I want them to remove, which is those silly front-facing cameras. I never use them. I can just pull up the goggles if I don't want them on my face, and I'll accidentally bump the side of the goggles, and it brings up these little things. You can kind of half disable it, but not entirely. So, yeah, it's somewhat less than ideal. Jackson V Films. How you doing, Jackson? Thanks for joining. A friend was telling me the other day that he knew some people that were having issues with the 4 terabyte SanDisk drives, and I've heard the same thing from other people. The 1 and 2 terabytes seem to be fine. Yeah, I've heard that from people too. I think it was like with a certain version of Mac OS or something. Maybe you told me that. I don't know where I've heard it from, but I've not had any issues, and I have a lot of them. So maybe I've just been very fortunate to not have issues, but I haven't had issues. But yeah, good point, Jackson. Keep an eye on those. So actually, with that in mind, Samsung 4 terabyte, Samsung T7 Shield 4 terabytes. I have a bunch of those as well, and they are also extremely solid. Crucial drives, on the other hand, I got 2 of them, and they both just basically quit working. They got so slow they were inoperable very quickly, so they went in a drawer, and I have never used Crucial drives again. So yeah, Samsung and SanDisk are the ones that I go for. Drones by David, which would you say the greater upgrade or improvement, Mini 3 Pro to Mini 4 Pro, or the Mini 4 Pro to the Mini 5 Pro, and why? Oh, that is a hard question. I have to think about this a minute. I'm going to say Mini 3 Pro to the Mini 5 Pro. Reason being that, not Mini 3 Pro to the Mini 5 Pro, Mini 3 Pro to the Mini 4 Pro. Reason being that it is not, you're getting more like completely new features on the Mini 4 Pro than going up to the Mini 5 Pro. Like, for example, you get 360 obstacle avoidance. That just simply does not exist on the Mini 3 Pro. You only have forward and backward. So there's some pretty big jumps there. And also you get like 4K 60 with full, no restrictions of like less dynamic range. You get 4K 120 for 4K 100 frames per second, I think, on the Mini 4 Pro. So that's a big jump. And it's also a pretty good jump to the Mini 5 Pro, but I think it's bigger between the Mini 3 and Mini 4 than the Mini 4 and Mini 5. Honestly, Mini 4, I can't get my numbers straight. Mini 4 is honestly still a super, super solid drone, even in 2025. Rob Sharp. Hi, John. Currently have the RC2 controller for the Mini 5 Pro. Is it worth upgrading to the RC Pro 2 for the OcuSync 4 Plus instead of OcuSync 4? I would say probably not, given that it costs like $1,000. I wouldn't update just for that. The bigger screen is going to be nice. The brighter screen is going to be nice. But I've actually tested the Mini 4 Pro and Air 3S, the range on them, and both with the RC2, which presumably is OcuSync 4, not 4 Plus. The Mini 5 Pro got way, way better range. So I think it's more in the drone than in the remote. I don't know if they kind of backfilled but didn't really say they did on the RC2, but it works decently well. All right, where were we here? Trying to find a decent priced backpack that can hold my Air 3S and a DSLR camera. Any suggestions? I'm not sure how decent priced it is, but they actually sent it to me, but some friends of mine got one as well, and I use it a ton. Now I can't think of the brand name. This is a problem. I don't have it here in the studio. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what it is, because I know what is the green drone backpack that looks like, it's not a drone, it's a camera backpack. It's a great one. It looks fairly inconspicuous too. It looks like they have it in green and other colors. I have the green one. But that's a great backpack. I'll circle back to that here in a second. Kevin Reed, NAS, it's not complicated, but it does cost a bit. Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, I'm still not seeing this. Oh, here, Brevity. Yeah, I like their backpack. Brevity, it's their camera backpack. Just to verify I'm human. Anyway, Brevity, look up their Brevity camera backpack. It's great. I can vouch for it, and I don't think it's the most expensive. Brevity the Jumper is the one that I have. Right now they're on sale for like $80, which I guess is not super, super cheap, but it's not that expensive as backpacks go. It's not huge, but it definitely will fit an Air 3S and a camera in there. I've put in there a DSLR, an Air 3S, and a Vada 2 with the goggles and remote and like all that stuff, and shot. Or I guess it was an Air 3, but you get the point. You can throw a lot of stuff in there. Rocco Germani, I bought a NAS earlier this year. It was expensive, but it is paid for itself. Very nice to have access to it whenever. The one I got is Synology DS 1621 Plus. Fill it up with 16 terabyte hard drives. Interesting. I might need to do that, actually. I will make note of that. I might be getting exactly one of those. NAS example. Still have to buy drives for it. Yep, for sure. Rocco Germani, it gives me about 96 terabyte total. That's awesome. I'm running off RAID 6, so I effectively have 64. Okay, nice. Well, 2 of the drives can fail, and I'll still be fine. Yeah, that is nice, because then you kind of have some redundancy in there. Can you gift me a DJI drone to review? Unfortunately, I'm not Mr. Beast, and I'm not really giving out drones. Maybe at some point we'll do a drone giveaway on the channel. We'll see. Maybe when we hit 100,000 or 1 million. But at this point, I'm not giving out drones, unfortunately. Sorry. Biz274, is it better to use the DJI RC2 or have an iPad mini on the Mini 5 Pro? What's your thoughts on drone hacks? Watching from Otara, New Zealand. Amazing. New Zealand is a great place. Personally, my pick is the RC2. Some people prefer having a bigger screen with an iPad mini on the remote. I hate how complicated it is, and you have to have all the cables, and you have to have an extra holder to hold the iPad mini, and you have to have I don't even know what else. But yeah, my pick is far and away just to have RC2 because it's simple. It's easy to throw in your bag. You don't need a big, other stuff with it. So to me, simplicity wins out over just sheer screen size. Right now, the only thing I'm not fond of with the NAS setup, is that I only have a gigabit connection, so I can't really edit video off of it, but it's great for editing photos and archiving video. Nice. Yeah, get that 10 gigabit, and then you can really go. When I graduate and get my own place, my goal is to get it upgraded to 10 gigabit port. Nice, so I can edit videos. Current workflows to edit off is T7 Shield. Those are great. Love them. Backup to 8 terabyte Seagate hard drives. I average 1 per year, and then also do the NAS, so I have 2 backups. That's solid. That's what I need to start doing so that I'm not just having complete chaos. The thing is, a lot of my videos, a lot of the footage I shoot A-roll for YouTube videos, I'm probably never going to touch it again after one use. So it's a little less essential for some of that stuff, but I really should be backing up the good drone footage and all that. Triple backing it up. Stinkerpot 70. Hi, I don't know if this got asked. Are you getting the anti-gravity A1? It did get asked. Anti-gravity hasn't sent me one, sadly. And I might get one. I heard somebody say that the price was going to be like $3,000, which seems completely unreasonable. If it's that much, I don't know if I'm going to get one, because that's as much as a Mavic 4 Pro, and it does not seem to me as impressive as a Mavic 4 Pro, especially depending how good the Avata 360 is. But I might get one. It's probably not going to cost that much. I can't imagine they would make it cost that much. If they do, it's insane. But yeah, there's probably a pretty good chance I'm going to get one. We'll see. Leo Iron Wolf, what's the max altitude you have reached with FPV? Say a number, but we can take it as inches so you won't have the problem. Well, you can fly up a mountain as high as you want. I've done at least 1,000 above takeoff point. That doesn't mean it was above the ground, okay? And yes, it's 100 inches. 100 inches above the ground is the highest we've ever gotten with an FPV, guys. Anyway, yeah. Height above ground is undisclosed, but height above takeoff is 1,000. Thing is, I haven't been around like the 3,000 foot tall mountains lately. So I haven't gotten to do like the 3,000 foot mountains yet, or 5,000 foot mountains. Peak Design is the best. I do like Peak Design, M Drone 1, but they do cost more. So if you're looking for a budget pack, they're not great. And also, to me, they're like a little bit heavy to carry comparatively. But they're super sturdy. They're great drones. Not drones, great backpacks. Theo Davidson 6923 says, hi John, I really appreciate that you sent me an email after your Black Friday course deals, asking which experience in drones we own. It's a really nice touch to get to your customer. Well, I'm glad you appreciated that. I just like to connect with my students when they join, give it a little bit of a personal touch. And yes, I do actually reply to those. Somebody asked me if it was AI replying to them. And no, I actually do reply. So it's not AI. AI isn't quite good enough yet to do that. And also, it's not a human. So to make them welcome in the community of drone flying. Yeah, welcome. I'll say it on here. Welcome to the course. Anyone who's just joined the course, awesome to have you in the course. Got a bunch of new students in here over Black Friday. So that's fantastic. If you wanted, I could show you more about how the NAS works. Just hit me up. Yeah, for sure. I'm biased because I'm trying to justify the purchase, but I must say it's very convenient. Yeah, I think it's a great system. I just haven't. It's been mostly the time to figure it out. But yeah, I'll probably do that at some point when I get going on NAS stuff. Theo Davidson, congratulations for all the good work. Thanks, really appreciate that. Trying to make helpful content for you guys. How many hours do you work in a week? Just curious. Too many. That's like mostly what I do is work. But I enjoy what I'm doing. I mean, it's maybe I'm making it sound a little bit more extreme than it is, but yeah, yeah, at this point, especially if it's like a really busy week, got a lot of videos going out. I don't know how many hours, but it's a good bit. It's a good bit. But hey, it's fun. I enjoy flying drones, making videos, so it's all great. Best Buy has coming soon, showing 1,999. Oh, for the let's see, Best Buy. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Best Buy Avata 360. I'm not seeing it here, but it may have just been on there for a minute, as that often is the case when there's a leak. But yeah, even 2,000 is kind of expensive for something that's basically a mini class drone. I mean, I guess that depends if it's a full kit or whatever, but I guess there's the goggles in there. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what it comes out. Can a friend living, can he buy a drone in China and send it to me as a gift, and we'll fly it in Canada? I have no idea about the customs regulations in Canada, so that's probably the wrong thing to ask me. But if you have a friend in China, I mean, yeah, probably you can. But again, I'm the wrong person to ask. I know nothing about the Canadian, import regulations. It was me that asked about the AI red letters. All right, so see, I'm real here. I'm not AI. It's a very valid question these days. I need help editing and what equipment I need for my PC. I have zero. What are you referring to as far as what equipment for your PC? As far as like building out a good PC for video editing or like extra peripherals? Um, as far as video editing, I've got a video or two on the channel, and then we have a ton more tutorials inside the course, which for anyone who wasn't here at the beginning, we have a 60% off sale running right now. Black Friday sale on the course that actually ends tonight. Biggest sale we run all year long. And we only do it once a year that we have this good of a sale. There's a link for anybody who wants to check it out. Most of you probably have already seen it because you probably are on my email list. If you're not on my email list, go download one of my downloads and you'll get all the good info. All right, where are we here? If you can drop some more questions, some more details about what you're looking for as far as equipment for your PC, then I can answer that question better. Hello, John. Good evening, Valphone. Hello, John. Good evening. Any alternative to DJI in the US in terms of drones? No, there is no good alternative. There are some. I actually have an entire video on the channel going over some of the alternatives. But at present, there's none that I would say are quite as good as DJI. There is the Sky Rover ones, which are just rebranded DJI. I'm not sure how long those will last. They'll probably get kicked out with DJI. There's also Potensic. They have the Potensic Atom 3, Potensic Atom 2. It's kind of like a Mini 3 style drone, or Mini 4K style drone. It's decent. It's not that good. There's still like a lot more bugs in DJI, but it's decent. If you want to follow me, Drone Hover Air has some fantastic stuff. So those are the current alternatives. Not the Avata, the Insta360. Oh, my bad. That's why I couldn't find it. My wires are getting crossed. It's been a long day. Insta360 or anti-gravity A1. I'm curious to see if we can pull this up. Anti-gravity drone at Amazon. Oh yeah, here we go. It's already live on their site. That's crazy. 1,999. Let's actually screen share here. more about it very, very soon. All right, looks like we are getting to, oh no. No audio. That's not good. Showing audio here. Oh, okay, guys. We should be back now. Are we back? Are we back? Let me know if we're back. Yeah, we're back. I think I just didn't have audio set up for my screen record thing. Yeah, that's what was going on. I just had my messed up settings in OBS, so that's what was going on. I thought I was like off for a long time. All right, so yeah, December 4 is the release date. That's mainly what I was saying. There's not a whole lot more information about it. I think it's supposed to be released December 4. It doesn't say what all is included, but I still think it's a little expensive, even if it has all the batteries. So yeah. Theo Davidson, can you talk about Cornwall, Ontario, Canada Epic Race? And DJI is the major sponsor. I don't know anything about that. Cornwall, Ontario, Canada Epic Race. Sounds like some kind of a FPV racing event. We'll Google it. Cornwall Speedway. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot about it. Let me know. Is that like a drone racing event? Looks like it's a car racing event, but maybe it's something else that Google just wasn't bringing up first. First state FPV. I don't know what to buy as far as portable hard drive or PC hard drive. Got it. As I mentioned a bit earlier, Extreme SSD 4, Extreme SanDisk Extreme SSD 4 terabyte or 2 terabyte, or Samsung T7 Shield are great options for SSDs, or if you want for a hard drive, I like the LaCie 4 terabyte. Let me just copy out the name of a couple of these since I can't seem to get short links, which is extremely annoying. I'm going to drop for you here in the chat a couple of these. These are my go-to. And let's see. These are not going to be as fast because they're spinning drives, but they are very good. They're quite rugged. The LaCie ones. So yeah. Can you send the Best Buy link? We'll see if it'll let me. Before YouTube was not letting me send a link here. There we go. There's a link, you guys. To the Best Buy anti-gravity page, so you can go and stock it and find everything out. Leo Ironwolf, many people may just use their Avata 2 gear to fly the 360 if they're compatible. It'll be interesting to see if they're compatible. I kind of doubt that they'll make it compatible because then they can't sell their goggles for. But maybe they will. I would be thrilled if they made it compatible. Unless 360 has its own controller and goggles, then that'll be a bummer. I almost guarantee you it'll have its own controller. Maybe not. I'd be surprised if they don't update the goggles too. But maybe they won't, because I think there is head tracking to some degree with the Avata, actually, now that I think about it. So maybe it'll be compatible. I would be thrilled if they made it compatible. All right, looks like we are getting close to the end of our comments here. We're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes. Drop any questions that you have if you want to get them answered here. At the end, I'm going to run through the rest of these. No sound, no audio. Sorry, guys. December 4 is the release date. It's working. When you're showing the drone, it wasn't working. Rocco, it's only went away when you're showing the screen. Got it. What was your first 5-inch first state FPV? Let me actually show you. Got one right here. Oh, brought down half of my studio with it. But this is it. This is the Jep. Oh, making noise here. This is the Jep RC Vapor D5. Let me see if I can get a link in here. The best place to get them is straight off of Amazon. Still won't get me a link. Let's see if we can get the shorter link here. Boom, there we go. That should send. That is my favorite. That is, I think it's probably the best value FPV drone. It's like you can get it for right around $540. There's actually a discount right now on it on Amazon, so it's a good time to get one. But yeah, you can also get them in from China, but you get them a lot quicker if you get them here from the States. This is a very, very solid, very solid drone. It's got plenty of power. It's very stable, has a good tune on it by default. And yeah, I love it. It's a great little quad. Ton of fun to fly. This FPV race, cool. I've never been to an FPV race actually. Just done the cinematic stuff. Do you use special software for the DJI drones when uploading videos on the PC? So I run all the footage. I take the footage without stabilization. Go check out my Avata 2 video. It's the same for the O4 Pro. Avata 2 settings video, I shoot with stabilization off, and then I stabilize the footage in GyroFlow. Free app called GyroFlow. I'll put that in the chat here if anybody's interested. It stabilizes the footage better than the internal stabilization because it can look ahead and behind further and, you know, get a better smoothing out effect. Use special software. Okay, we got that. Can you publicize? Well, it's being publicized right now here. I don't know what I'm going to do elsewhere, but yeah, it sounds cool. I don't know anything about it, but yeah, that sounds like a cool event. If you're right there in Canada, check it out. The video, I believe, at Seneca Rocks is awesome. I went there and it was too chicken to climb on the rock part. Haha, yeah, that is definitely Seneca Rocks. I was probably doing something a little bit sketch there with a couple of those shots. But hey, it's fun up there. We climb around up there, and yeah, you definitely want to be careful. Don't fall off and die and sue me, but it's a fun place up there. Leo Ironwolf, what do you think of FPS shots I think you're thinking FPV shots maybe, in big budget action movies? I see directors rarely use them and half of them looks bad. Yeah, honestly, I'm not that impressed with the use of them. I think part of it is that they want their footage to be shot on cinema cameras, and you can't put a big true cinema camera on a 5-inch rig. Now, you can get big Cinelifter rigs, which are cool, but you can't fly a Cinelifter like you can a 5-inch quad. You can't, they're not as maneuverable. So you're kind of more limited in what you can do with it on a big production. Now, honestly, if I was directing a big budget movie, I would just say, we're going to get a cool FPV shot. We're going to strap a GoPro on this, and for this shot, it'll be fine. But, that's not how it works. So I think that's part of why you don't see them as much. And when you do, they're not quite as just crazy insane as what you see, other guys doing. I mean, there are some cool shots. Don't get me wrong. But is that West Virginia moonshine in the mason jar? I am in West Virginia, but this is not moonshine. This is water. Dihydrogen monoxide. It's, very dangerous stuff. No, it's just water. I'm crazy and I drink out of a mason jar. I don't know why I do that, but it works. Now I'm getting water on my hoodie. Okay, well, the stream is starting to go off the rails. Moonshine and water and all sorts of stuff going on. Okay. Rocco, do you think you'll get the R6 Mark III? I'm renting one later this month to test it. Still rocking the Mark 1. At some point, I want to get one. It seems like a sweet camera. I've got the Mark II, and so it doesn't have the overheating limits or record time limits. And honestly, for most of what I do for YouTube, I would hate to be shooting 7K RAW to me one of the most attractive things. It has a full-size HDMI port instead of micro HDMI. So I probably will get one at some point, but not yet. Not yet. Maybe sometime next year. But right now, I'm quite happy with the one I've got. And yeah, I think it's super cool though, the fact that you get RAW internal. I just am not shooting mostly high-end enough stuff that RAW even matters for me. So yeah, that is where we are at. Do you think a 4-motor 7-inch or 10-inch can carry a full-frame camera like small Cinelifter? I'm not sure. I haven't really worked with those bigger drones carrying heavier stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if a 10-inch could, with big enough motors, carry a small. It depends. So there's two things that's going on: a powerful drone, and then if you can get like a really light camera, you can fly on a smaller drone and more nimble, like stripped down. They have some Black Magics that they strip down, so you could, but yeah, you need a fairly good chunk. Welcome everyone from the U.S. to Ontario, Canada. Very cool. 27th and 28th of November. Sounds like a cool event. Nehemiah Rogers. Hey Nehemiah, how's it going? Where do you mainly buy your original propellers from? Bought some original from Amazon, but for the Air 3 because I couldn't find the Air 3S ones. They seem to be thicker and it seems to fly a little slower. Oh, that's a good question. I wonder if the props are different. I never considered that they might be different. Let me look here on Amazon. I usually get them from Amazon. The other place that, well, you've already looked at Amazon, so I won't duplicate that. The other place I've gotten them a lot is B&H. They Air 3S props, Air 3S drops. No, they don't have any. That's rough. I'm not sure where to get them at this point. I got a bunch a while ago, so I've got them, but you may at some point be just down to getting them from other places. It looks like the Air 3 series are technically all the same, supposed to be. DJI just has Air 3 series low noise propellers. Obviously you can't get them right now, but so I think they should be the same. Maybe you got fake ones they sent you on Amazon. That does happen on Amazon. They send out fake stuff a lot. Well, not that much, but it does happen. So that might be part of it. Benson Center Indoor Field. Okay. Roku. Oh yeah, the RAW is awesome. It comes to the cost of storage, right? Oversampled 4K should be pretty crisp. Got an R7 as my B cam, and the 7K oversampled is really nice. Yeah, it's honestly great quality footage out of the R6 Mark II. That's what I shoot all my YouTube videos on, if you're wondering. Canon camera. It's honestly, I fill up, many times I'll like be rolling for extended periods of time when I'm filming myself. So I don't need any bigger files for sure. Don't need any bigger files. It's already filling up enough hard drives. My only concern was rolling shutter, but seems pretty tame with the R6 Mark III. Yeah, I haven't looked at that much. Also, I haven't looked at how much it overheats, but I'm sure it's pretty decent. Canon's been pretty good with the rolling shutter lately, at least not terrible. So, Leo Ironwolf, have you tried Drone Duel? 2 FPVs to dogfight and destroy each other's propellers with their frames. Deathmatch. I won twice, lost once. That actually sounds fun. I've heard about it. Sounds fun. I don't know if I want to do it with my 04 quads since it's getting so hard to get 04 stuff. Maybe with some analogs. If I ever get into analogs, that would be fun. Drone STRS. Good evening. Good evening to you. SDAXTWO. I don't know how to pronounce that. Air 3S and Air 3 and Air 3S use the same prop according to DJI website. Yep. Had good luck with Air 3S and Mini 5 Pro props off eBay. Yeah, eBay is a great place to get them. I forgot about that. You can sometimes find some good deals on them there. That is a great great place to look. Yeah. I think there's a good chance, Nehemiah, that you probably got fake props, unfortunately. Like they're aftermarket, they work, but you know, they're not quite maybe made to DJI's full standard. Alrighty, well, it looks like we are finally to the bottom of all of the comments, which is incredible that we made it through them all. So I think we are going to be wrapping up our stream here pretty soon. What time is it? We're 8:30. But yeah, as I was mentioning at the beginning of the call, we usually do these every other week inside the course on Zoom. People can come in, ask their questions directly, share their screen if there's something they want feedback on. Also, we do feedback. I give feedback on course students' videos every other week on the calls. And so, yeah, if you want to join those, 60% off until midnight tonight. The clock is ticking. You guys already know that. I won't spend a lot of time yapping about that, but for anyone who wasn't here earlier when we were talking about it. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining our Flying Filmmaker Q&A live stream. I do want to do these a little bit more often on YouTube. We'll see if I get them more than once a year or not. They're fun to do, but they take a minute to set up the studio for a live stream. So we'll see how often we get them done. Mike, Safer Harbor. John, I just purchased your course, but I haven't gotten an email from you yet. Shoot me an email, john@flyingfilmmakerpro.com. I will get you taken care of. It's a little bit hard for me to look up your, course contact here from the setup, but if you just purchased it in the last few minutes, sometimes it takes a minute for the emails to get out. Check your spam and your promotions folder. Something could be going on in there. But if not, just shoot me an email. If something went wrong on the back end, I'll make sure to get you taken care of ASAP. Opinions, view, photo, thanks. Have a great night. You too. Rocco Germani, really enjoyed tuning in. Love the work you do. Have a good night. Thank you, Rocco. Thanks for joining. And you do some great stuff too, especially with the color grading. Very cool stuff. You have a good night as well. All right. I think with that, we are going to wrap it up, you guys. Again, thanks for joining. It was a great stream. And hopefully we'll do one again before the year is up.